Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stars Through Adversity. I'm Svetlana Kim. I am very excited today because we have an extraordinary guest, Michael Alperstein, who is a spiritual maverick, and his mission is to solve problems at their core by creating spontaneous and out-of-the-box solutions. He guides you back to your heart and into aliveness and trust. He's a life coach showing you how to use the magic within yourself and how to bring spirituality and positive energy into daily life. He is the author of Mastery, Where You Are, and the director of the online community Lightworkers World. Please join me in welcoming Michael Alperstein. Michael, welcome to the show.
Greetings, Svetlana. It's really good to be here. And greetings to everyone out there, whether you're listening live or on archive. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Exactly. You reminded me this is a live show and everyone can call in. The number is 646-652-4616, and you can also send us a question or send us questions in our chat room. So today, I would love to talk to Michael about life and how to be happy and feel fulfilled, because it is amazing that so many people, it seems, Michael, like they have the pattern, because they have the same questions. Like, we had Michael Galp on the show. He wrote How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, and people are just so amazed how he's able to tap into divine creativity and write this book that just literally changed his life and millions of people across the globe. I mean, they ask me, you talk to these people, can you find out what they do? And I was like, listen to the show. They are just like you and me. They have one head, two hands, two legs, but it seems like everyone was able to find their passion to do what they love and to prosper. There's so many people. I had an incredible guest, John David Mann, who wrote the book, co-wrote the book, and this book became New York Times bestseller. He was hesitant because
what was the focus of the book?
The Red Circle with Brendan Webb. He wrote that book. And John talks about how he lost his child. He had two marriages that did not work. He filed for bankruptcy with his magazine. Yet, he was able to overcome and follow his heart, no matter what, and tremendously successful. But not only that, he's writing his book, The Go-Giver, he wrote with my dear friend Bob Berg, impacts people around the world. His books is translated into 25 languages, and it's a whole movement of being the go-giver. So today, Michael, I wanted to ask you, because you do that, that is your passion, that is your mission. I don't even call work.
Yes.
It's helping people to find the purpose.
Yes, yes. And find that happiness as best as we can, regardless of what our outer circumstances are. And like everyone, I've had challenging outer circumstances. We were talking about earlier, my sister passed away, and we can talk about that again. But I think what's coming up for me right now, and I don't like to have a pat answer, but my intuition is just saying that it's the being really present with what you're feeling and having a humble stance towards whatever you're feeling. Even if there's a little sadness or overwhelm or nervousness, it's like just being humble and feeling that. Then you come back to yourself, and I invite everyone who's listening to just participate energetically and just with a little bit of self-reflection while Svetlana and I are talking, that to take a deep breath and just set your intention to bring a little humility towards whatever you're feeling and a safe space. We're creating a safe space. And for me, that's really, that kind of pause and safety is the foundation for inner success and outer success and passion and just going for what you want. But it's like you start with a deeper feeling of yourself.
I love that, and thank you for saying that, because it comes from your heart. And what came to me as a message is, the voice asked me to honor you. So I honor your present, your light and energy on our show, and I honor everyone who is listening, because you're meant to be here with us and to listen to this conversation. So
beautiful. I feel that. As soon as you said that, I felt the spirit of that. And what I felt like is you were honoring like my spirit and the spirit of all the people that are listening. We have these human selves and these lives, and we have to go to work and bring the kids from school and all of that, and that's one aspect of who we are. But when we join together with what felt like a prayer, what you just did, I don't know if you would use the word prayer, but an intention, it's like we're honoring the soul and the spirit behind our persona. And so as soon as you said that, it's like, wow, we really are connected, and it is something to honor, and we are loved. And thank you for inviting me to be here.
You're most welcome. Thank you for taking time and being here with us. So many people ask me how I meet these incredible people, and I was guided. I met you on Google Plus by feeling your vibration and energy. And what you said, actually, I feel the experience, even though I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting in my chair. I have online studio, and
that's it. I just want to pause you. You're not doing anything.
I am not doing anything.
That's the key. In a way, it's like there's a spontaneous factor to all this. I mean, there's a time to work on something, like, I've really got to do an affirmation, or I've really got to look at this. I don't want to discount the working on it. Wow, I have a bad habit and I'm going to work on it. That's honorable. And yet there is a huge, spontaneous, simple factor to happiness, to presence, to just being on your spiritual path. And it ultimately does feel like you're not doing anything. For me, it's like something gets done. It's like, but you're not working so hard on it. It's like, have you ever gone on a hike and maybe it starts out like, oh man, this hill is murder, but then you kind of get going, and then it's like you're you're being walked, you're being hyped, something kicks in. And I over and over again, when a profound shift has happened for me, or even a simple shift, there's a sense of not doing anything, a sense of letting it unfold organically. So I interrupted you.
No, you didn't interrupt it. I was listening because you're absolutely right. I agree, but also listening to you and feeling the energy, it's the vibration. It's something that I cannot see it, but I feel it, and I feel it in my heart. And it's interesting. The heart does so much work. I mean, it's the center of our. I'm studying anatomy right now because I'm taking yoga training, and it's one of the most challenging class because I'm programmed that I'm not good at anatomy because my parents wanted me to go to medical school. And I wrote to my teacher today when I got this message where it's coming from. I'm definitely intelligent enough to memorize the bones and, muscles. But I told him, I said, I wanted to understand my own body, and I will memorize all the muscles that you want me to know, not to pass the test, but for myself. And I wrote and I sent him email, and I said, wow, a shift happened. Because we're programmed to do something for somebody, to do something just to pass the test. But I really look the other side. It's just for me to understand my body. That was my motivation, that I go and teach and that my students in the class don't hurt themselves. And I don't hurt myself as well.
Right.
So I always ask, what is the meaning and purpose, the reason, everything that I do? What is the meaning of my life? Why I'm here? And when I look at the person and I meet, I'm always curious, what makes them so unique? Even someone might have different beliefs. Or, before I would probably judge him and say, well, his level of, education or something. But now I look from the different point. I look the light. It's like namaste. I honor your divine because everyone is divine, but they're just programmed, they're conditioned in different way than we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Being different doesn't mean they're not, good people. Being different, it means that we learn something from them. We listen to them.
Yeah, regardless of the circumstances. I mean, it's beautiful to publish a book and do all of that, and I am, doing that and running groups and websites, and yet what you're talking about is outside. It's regardless of our outer circumstances. It's in a child, it's in a baby, it's in the elderly, it's in who we are. It's honoring that. It's in the simplicity of that.
Oh, you know what? Another thing that you said, simplicity, and I was reminded many times by my spiritual guru teacher, simplify everything. Simplify your life. Simplify your thoughts, because the thoughts affect how we feel.
Simplify your approach to spirituality, to growth, to emotions. It's like, okay, I'm feeling this right now. Okay, let me just honor that and simplify. Things. I've often said, as inner peace increases, the more simple things become. As things become more complex, we tend to get more stressed. But it's the feeling or the thought that things are complicated that increases the stress. But inner peace increases as simplicity increases.
I agree with you. My guru, Swami Majalanand, told me life is simple. Understanding life is not simple.
Yes, yes. And then we do, and we take action from that place of simplicity. It doesn't mean do nothing. One of my teachers, a fellow named Robert Young, he says, do nothing, but don't be lazy. and, they're both true. It's like hearing the call and then acting from that. Instead of, I got to tell you, Anna, when if I do a bunch of things in one day and run around like a headless chicken, I may get a lot done, but I don't feel quite as on purpose as if I did a few things really, really well with all my heart. On days when I do a few things with all my heart and presence, I get so much more done than days when I just run around and rush around or, all of that. So it's a reminder, and it's a practice for me as well, and it's a practice for all of us. But to work from your heart and let the presence come first, let the happiness come first, prioritize that, commit to that. I commit to my own happiness, regardless of circumstances and regardless of what they think, whoever they are. And you commit to that, just hold that knowing, and then ready yourself, because then you'll be guided, and you move through the world with that commitment. And then nothing can touch you. People might snap at you or whatever, but it doesn't bring you down, because you have that knowing in your heart of who you are, and that honoring. The way you just a few moments ago honored me and everyone listening, it's now time to honor ourselves, to honor the hugeness of who we are, that yes, we have this little human life, but there is so much more to who we are. We're just, the job you have, that's just a tiny fragment of who you are. And so it's really, really with your breath and just a silent knowing, I honor who I am. It's like a namaste to yourself. Namaste to yourself.
That's beautiful. I'm actually rereading the book, which and many people, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he shares in his book, you are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. That is just profound. And what you said about presence and commitment and honoring yourself. And it's interesting because so many of us are so harsh on ourselves, including myself. And what I learned is that I was judgmental toward myself. I was judgmental toward others. So when I noticed that, I decided to make a shift, because no one is perfect. And can you imagine going and living your life and meeting incredible people, but because you're so judgmental toward yourself, you see flaws instead of beauty in people. And one day I was doing meditation, and I said, wow, I said, thank you so much, universe, for talking to me. And I will shift, I will change, because universe is offering and sending all this beautiful energy and souls my way, but because of my ego, I miss meeting so many beautiful souls.
Oh, that's a beautiful realization. Wow. That's what it's all about. That's what you just shared. That's what life is about. That kind of realization and that shift.
And the beautiful thing is, it was very quiet. I was not doing anything. I was just sitting and meditating. And no one told me that, the universe, the divine voice. And it was I think because I opened my heart and I came and I said, well, I'm working on this, not to be too judgmental, not to be harsh. And like you said, it's just, analyzing these feelings, where it's come from. It's like digging. It's like, gardening and finding out where the roots go,
Yeah, yeah. And something, it's usually just a working on it too hard that can cover up whatever the mystery is. And as soon as you stop working on it so hard and you just have a little bit of, okay, maybe I am judgmental or whatever, you have a little space for that, and then that cracks open a door, and then a spontaneous shift happens. So if it's like in the face of being judgmental, you're just spinning your wheels, but you've got to do an about face in order to have a shift like that. But that about face, it comes about not through the wheels spinning, not through the same judgment, but through something else entirely. It's a shift in the perception of who we are, and that's when the universe speaks to us, and a flood of light can come in, and then it can lift us out of whatever the old pattern was, whether it was a poor me pattern or a judgment or an emotion, something inside of us, but that's not just our normal everyday self, lifts us out of that. And then we're suddenly bigger than those old judgments. We find we're bigger.
Beautiful. And it also gives me peace and much more energy. And one day I was thinking how much energy I spent on judging myself did not serve me well, and judging others. So much energy.
Yeah, it takes work to be unhappy.
That was a good one, Michael. That was a good one. So it's equal work. Either you're working, being mindful, being happy, content and fulfilled. Even more energy is wasted when you feel judgmental and upset.
Yes.
And isn't it amazing? So and not getting any benefits. It's not benefiting that person, which was me, and not benefiting all these people who I met who wanted to be with someone who is judgmental.
Right. Part of us thinks it's benefiting. Part of us, if we're judging, or part of us might think it's benefiting, like we're gonna, it's almost like motivating someone with our judgment, like, darn it, that person's got to change, I'm going to judge them, or I've got to change. So there's a voice in us that thinks it's working. even that judgmental voice thinks it's being of service, but it's actually holding the pattern in place.
It's interesting what you said. Oh, that person has to change. A lot of people, either it's the relationship or business relationship, walking into the office in the morning, we would say, oh my gosh, I wish that person would change. I wish he would not do that, or she would not do that, or do differently. And I see that in the relationship when people try to change someone and it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's impossible to change someone.
It really is. It's sort of, it doesn't mean that people don't change, but the door to changing the situation, it has to come from inside of you first. That door to just holding a safe space for you that wants them to change. Then you feel that feeling, I really want them to change. If this bozo would just change, but that's your quote-unquote work to do, to hold a space for that feeling of wanting them to change. And and take a breath and go, okay, that person may or may not change. Let me just really, really relinquish resistance to the thought, the wanting, I want them to change. You know, it's okay to want them to change. Give that some space. But trying to make them to change, that's, good luck on that one. I'm not saying it never happens, but I think it's usually doomed.
But people who reach out to you, these are people who wanted to change for better. They wanted to do much more in their lives and for others as well. I think they're just truly lucky to work with you. I just feel your kindness and compassion, and I feel the way you create space in your heart and you create space for others. And I think, for people to trust and work with someone, I think you is just the ideal person because you have that compassion and your energy. It's not something that you go to the training, you take the classes, you pass the test like I'm trying to pass anatomy, and you transform people's life. It's really, in you. It's your mission. It's your purpose. I think it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is the best?
And I was just going to say, and it's like I take it very seriously, but I also bring in some humor to that too, and that combination of the seriousness, to honor the space that we're in with a little bit of kind of cosmic humor. That's what brings the ground of transformation.
And I love that because we're too serious in our lives.
Yeah.
We're too serious. We're in an environment too competitive, too judgmental, too me, too much focus on us and goals and everything, and we forgot about living from our heart, listening to our emotions.
Yeah.
And if we don't have this capability to do that, there is no way that person can relate to somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. To honor the path that we're on that sense, it is serious. Like Eckhart Tolle said, we do have this grand mission, and yet to be able to smile at that and bring some playfulness into the human foibles, then so we fall on our butt. That's okay. Oh, I had a judgment. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's like to have that balance, to strike that balance between not getting upset with ourselves when we do mess up, so to speak. Well,
and look at his life. The person who had severe clinical depression and wanted to end his life. This morning I was thinking about J.K. Rowling and her life. Not even having enough financial resources to pay electricity bills.
Right.
And today.
And yet she started. I think she wrote on a napkin, as far as I know the story.
Yeah.
Unless that's a myth.
Yeah.
But she and then you know what? Later people asked her how Harry Potter came to her, and she just said something like, one day Harry Potter just walked into my mind. And there's that spontaneity there. It's like maybe she just opened to it. She opened the door. I don't know exactly, but maybe she had an ounce of acceptance for where she was, and then the universe, that creates space for the universe to come rushing in.
Wow, it's the hardship, it's the suffering, it's the she talks about the clinical severe depression for years.
Yes.
It's being single mom, not having loving relationship with her father. Her mother passed away. All this dark period in her life, and where she escaped, really writing on a napkin what was in her head. And
right.
Harry Potter came in, and she was hurried to rush and finish the story.
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
that's similar to what I experienced. My sister passed away very suddenly about 10 years ago, and she had a baby at the time. And so I went from uncle to super uncle, overnight. I basically, my mom went from grandma to mom, and this was an incredible life change on so many levels. And I know we're almost out of time, so I can't tell it. But there was something you said, and it's something about being present with a so-called tragedy, and then you turn that around. You create space for that, and then that's when it becomes the greatest gift and the greatest blessing. And doesn't have to be a big thing like your sister dying. It can be someone honks their horn at you or whatever. You really look the circumstance straight in the eye, and you breathe with it. You honor yourself. You feel your own presence. You give a namaste to yourself, and then you act from there. And you feel your feelings, and then move beyond them from there. And I tell you, this circumstance with my sister passing away, it's been everything. It's been, of course, been challenging, but it's been by far the greatest blessing, the greatest spiritual workshop I've ever been blessed to receive. And so I can work with that and turn something like that into a stepping stone to open my heart, then anything can be a stepping stone.
Thank you for sharing that story.
You're welcome.
I lost my grandmother in 2010, and my goddaughter, who was 20, misdiagnosed for many years. She had Lyme disease, but she was taking medication for MS for 15 years. I don't know the number, but for a long time, in 2011. So it was very difficult for me, very difficult. My book was published, and I dedicated it to my grandmother, White Pearl, and I. Her name was White Pearl, and her pair of shoes that she gave me, Michael, in 1975 are brand new under my desk as we're talking, and they fit me perfectly. And when I met my guru, he explained me, he said, one day, I would like to talk to you about death, because it's not something common in our culture here. And I was so fascinated, and I told him, I'm afraid of death. And we talked. But in Buddhism, it's death is it's a celebration of life. It's honoring life, because the energy will always exist. Their souls, their beautiful presence will always exist, but it's just in different dimension.
Yes.
And the soul, instead of holding and being sad, he said, think with joy and happiness for your grandmother, for your goddaughter Juna. Elevate that energy, honor their decision, because that was the soul wish to transform into different dimension.
Oh, that is beautifully put. Wow.
Yeah.
And little deaths happen all the time. If you look back to where you were last week or 5 years ago or whatever, those old stuck patterns that have fallen away, those have died in a way, and that's okay. And we are still here. Our presence, our spirit is still here.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, the words you said a minute ago, it's already history. It's already past, Michael.
Yes.
We only have now. So thank you so much for
My
your
pleasure.
beautiful presence and for bringing your light to humanity, for elevating all of our energies, for creating the community, and how our listeners can follow you and support your work. What is the best way to reach you?
Yeah, I have two main websites. My personal one where I share my teachings is luminousLiving.com, like bright living, luminous living. And then I also run a site called Lightworkers World, lightworkersworld.com, and that's where everyone can join and share their piece of the puzzle, because we each have a unique spirit and offering. So there's my work, and then there's the community, and they're interrelated. You know, I'm part of the community. We're all in this together. But my main site is Luminous Living.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It was
my
I'm
pleasure.
just so delighted to have you, and my heart is just so much lighter. And I know that everyone who listened to the conversation with you is enlightened and feel lighter and happy. And that's thank you for living your purpose, bringing happiness and light to the world, and wishing you all the best that life can offer. Many blessings to you, and may divine love guide you, that you fulfill all your heart desires and wishes.
Beautiful. And so it is for everyone. Thank
you so much, Michael. We're not saying goodbye to you.
Oh, we'll not.
Talk
okay.
to you. We'll talk to you soon.
I thought we were out of time.
Yeah, we're done, but I'm just saying, we'll be in touch, and I wanted to thank you so much. And everyone, the podcast will be available, so you can download on your iPhone, and you can listen anytime. And if you have any questions, please contact Michael directly. I will be following up and posting and sharing the websites again. And, of course, feel free to drop me a line. As you know, I always pass your messages and introduction to our guests, and that's the whole purpose of this community, to connect people, to share ideas. And please, all we wish is that you enjoy the show, you enjoy our incredible guests, their generosity, their time, and share with your friends. That's the best you can do. If you enjoyed the message, please help someone and say, I listened to today's show. Please listen, and and direct them to Michael and Michael's website, lightworkersworld.com and luminousLiving.com. Thank you so much for your continued support, love, and blessings. And Michael, again, thank you so much. Many blessings to you.
My pleasure. Many blessings to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.